Welcome back. A full weekend of racing coming up on you in Maryland, Keith. Of course, we had a nice weekend last weekend, and let's hop right to it. Let's take a look at
Yeah.
what we've got going on
All right.
with our track. Things are looking pretty good out there, Keith.
Yeah, I tell you, you were good to get away. I can tell you that we had some nasty weather around here in these parts last week, dealing with that rain, snow, you name it, off tracks. But we're back to a fast track today. Reports it's a little bit on the quick side from what I heard.
All
So
right.
yeah, good to have you back. 47 degrees, a little chilly. I'm sure it's a little chillier than what it was down in South Florida. But I tell you what, I think the week ahead looks really good. When I was looking at the weather, up in the 50s, maybe almost touching closer to 60 later on. So the extended forecast looks good here. I think we'll have a fast track to work with over the next week or so.
Well, you guys did a great job last weekend dealing with kind of everything that was going on, but a race run nonetheless and had a
Yeah,
fantastic weekend. So let's
that's
hop
good.
to it. With this card that we have going on, we're going to start our early pick five in a claiming 25 for the 4-year-olds and up, which have never won two, going a mile on the dirt. Scratch in the 6, Time the Avenger. Keith, you and I both have the number 2. I know on top for Gina Perry, Jean Brasino. First time against winners, but let's go ahead and take a look at that win last time out.
Yeah, let's look at that. And this horse has made some dramatic improvement off of a little bit of a break and has come back and moving up with a flourish. This particular day, we had a couple windy days there going back, and I have to wanted to double check on this, and I didn't. So my fault of it because I didn't. The internals were really quick. We had a couple windy days. There was
I
a wind-dated
noticed that.
backstretch, through the backstretch into the turn. So I'm wondering, looking at these fractions, can I truly believe them? But what I do believe is in the improvement of I Know, and a great ride by Brasino, working through traffic around the turn, was very patient, and a good sustained run. Really kicked it in nicely the last 16th of a mile to run down Money Room. Buyer went from 36, 56, up to a 71. Another draw towards the inside. We'll see if this track trend continues. Back now, given some time away, a couple days away, now a fast track. But the inside has been good, Callie. But I also like this stat for Gina Perry. The last 2 years on the dirt, look at this. 4 for 14, 29%. 7 for 14 in the money with a 50% tag drop. ROI is a gaudy 1160. I think I Know and Maryland Moon, similar kind of form right now for these horses. They've kind of got it clicking at the right time. Both of them up in class a little bit, but I think they work here in today's opener. I Know might have just a touch more tactical speed, but the break, we've got to see how they come out of that gate.
We'll see how he is. First time against winners here. Keith Fusel 2871
Yeah.
there in our kickoff of the early pick 5. Let's go to your pick 3, starting off in race number 2. Keith, take it away. I can understand why you went from your normal pick 4 to a pick 3. It's a bit of a doozy today.
Yeah, this card is a doozy. Talking to a couple of people this morning, I'm like, listen, you could see some prices. You could have a situation where you just combine a couple 3, 4 to 1 shots in these pick 3s, and you're going to get rewarded because they're that wide open. So I go back to a pick 3 here today. We've had some luck with these. Race 2 gets it started with the 2, 5, and 6. Race 3, 3 deep again with the 1, the 5, and the 6. I guess DeMajestical would be your price shot in there for Phil Schoenthal. 4 deep in the 4th. A real tough Maryland bred, Maryland sired, first level allowance. 1, 2, 5, 9. Unfortunately, I had some scratches in there, but we're going to go with this $18 ticket for this earlier pick 3.
Even with scratches, still makes things interesting here to start things off. So let's go ahead. Race number 2 also kicks off an early pick 4 in claiming 12-5, going at 2 turns, a mile and 16th for the straight 3-year-olds. No scratches in this race. Keith, you go with the number 2, El Delary on top for Antonio Machado, J-Ron Barbosa. Also first time against winners today. Let's take a look at that nice run in that win last time out on the 13th of January.
And this is another one. On the improve, you can see he kind of wants to run all day. Big improvement in numbers. Maybe it was a little bit of moisture in your track when the digging, the breeding. This horse, definitely could move up on wet footing, maybe even grass. But this horse steadied into the first turn, wide down the backside, moved up behind a wall of horses. You saw that steady and alter course, leaving at 3/16, and really kicks away nicely here. Grabs command with a 16th to go with Barbosa. We're going to come right back, inside draw. Lasix going on for a barn that is rolling right now. So I think they're like 6 for their last 16 or something. So they've got it going on, Antonio Machado and company. I think there's a lot to like for the 5, your top selection, Chica Chuck. This is the only two-time winner in the field, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, went back and watched his run last time. He was a little, he just kind of fought restraint early on into and around the first turn, didn't completely get settled, and then kind of made that run against the grain of the racetrack, and just I thought turned on okay. We'll pick up a stalking trip today right behind Jumping Jagger Flash. The 6, I think, will go from the outside, and we've seen this blinkers on move do quite well for the Salzman's Mark.
Absolutely. Salzman specifically, 4 for 7 in the money as of lately with the blinkers on, as you note, Keith. So 2, 5, 6, 4 in race number 2. Anything to say quickly on Ascendance? Also taking the blinkers off.
Yeah, taking the blinkers off, again, has shown the ability to make a run from further back. A chase and a fade last time. A little question mark for me on this one. I think we'll set up in fairly good position, a few lengths out of it, see if he can bring the punch here on the drop from 32 down to 12.5.
I think that's a big help here today, big time. So I think it's, Farrier won the training title, I believe, at Mountaineer. So just kind of, I think he's still with these runners from Mountaineer, just trying to place them and figure out where they kind of need to belong. So I think that's where that's coming from. A little bit better position here today. Race number 3, a maiden claiming 45, going 1 mile and 16th on the dirt for the straight 3-year-old. Scratch in the 4, Brother Lad. Scratch in the 7, Enzo.
Yeah. Both users what I thought they were, yeah.
Same, because you and I end up on the number 1, the inside rail horse, and Grumpy Grin for Brittany Russell, Sheldon Russell, second-time starter and second-time router.
Yeah, I'll give a little pass to the debut on a sloppy sealed track. We're going to go 2 turns today. The other Rapoli, Brittany Russell, got it done. Great opportunity on the front end. This one was just found itself way, way too far back. A belated kind of a late run there. I thought in the gallop out was okay. Now, the siblings haven't done a whole lot. I was looking, big price tag for this one. Just looking for a jump up with the Lasix going back to a fast track. And, just kind of stat-wise, I'll kind of default into this one. It's not a love this pick at all because I thought the 7 was a definite user, as was the 4. But we'll take a shot. I think we're going to see some improvement here for Grumpy Grin. If not, hey, he could be taking another drop again. For Barna has plenty of good runners.
The dam finally took. It was her second route that she got her first win before she was retired over there in California. So that's the only thing that I could find. But let's go ahead to your number 6 on the outside. And Glass of Courage. Phil Cap, blinkers off. J-Ron Barbosa stays on.
Yeah, what can you say? Honest. The horse is right there. And he really shows no quit in his races, but he has a little chase into him. Does he want to be a winner? That's going to be the key. Before good starts, the numbers certainly work. If he gets to the front by the quarter pole, I think he'll be tough to run down with that experience under his belt there. So Glass of Courage is certainly going to be a shorter price in here. D Majestical, a little angle on this one. This might be an all or nothing type. Phil Schoenthal got it done with Prodigy Doll the other day at a good price. By Justify, out of a Galileo mare, turf, just really nothing back in October, but returns with Lasix. This turf to dirt angle has worked in the second start for this trainer over the last couple of years with an ROI close to $4. You got to pay attention to that. Anything by Justify, you got to pay attention to as well. So I go 1, 6, 5, 8. I find this would be a little tricky race. Goodbye note with a couple scratches, moves in a little bit. Again, I think we'll carry it a little further than what he did last time.
You're right on. I think you're right on that. Keith Fusel, 1, 6, 5, 8. Race number 3. Race number 4 is claiming 8,000, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the girls 4 and up. Scratching the 7 out dancing. Keith, we're all over the place on this one. I throw in a bit of a price, but you go with the number 2, My Sister Nancy, John Salzman Jr., Toledo. Why not? I can totally see it.
Yeah, this is another head scratcher. Yeah, you've got horses. The form is really scattered.
Yep.
You've got Tweet Away Robin, who draws the inside. very good last time, but we know the tendency with her. Sometimes she just likes to act up in the gate. She doesn't come away clean. And, man, that could really go against her in a big field. She's got to come out okay and get an okay run into the turn. If so, she's like consistently faster when she's ready than these. So I'm going to definitely use her. But my sister Nancy on the turn back, I know route to sprint, I should say, smaller sample size, not great. But this horse has improved with the blinkers going on, has some sprints back on her page that work. I think the flow's going to be okay. Your horse, Lanita, definitely, I think is going to be forward. Bandits Warrior, very quick as well. Against the grain after a slower break against much quicker fillies and mares last time out. I think she's going to be a pace presence a long way. But if the 2 and the 1 kind of come away fairly cleanly, I think they can make a run into this flow.
There we go. 2-1-5-9 for Keith Fusel there in race number 4. Any quick words on Fool Yourself, the 9 horse? Let's wrap up your picks on this head scratcher of a race.
The last time she sprinted, albeit it was 7/8 of a mile, she got a perfect trip up the inside. That was a good inside day. Rode the grain of the racetrack. Then tried tougher company. Again, this is the right level for her. It would not be a surprise if she rolls by these late with Alfello.
Okay, let's roll on into race number 5. This starts the Rainbow Pick 6. Keith, I had quite an expensive ticket in my first draft. It's still not. I loved it to be cheaper, but nonetheless, it's a $38.40 ticket. Races number 6 and 7, wide open affairs there. Race number 5, I go with the 2 and the 10. I almost left in the 6, your top pick in race number 5 to kick things off. But race number 8, I single in on the number 8 as I scroll down there and get to that placing really quick. Charming Way, Jamie Ness 7-5. I mean, I like others in this field. I just haven't seen it yet. And Charming Way just on an absolute roll. So I thought that was an easy steal for a single and wrap things up in race number 10 with the 1, 4, and 9. $38.40 ticket. Let's get back to race number 5. That is that first leg. A restricted allowance going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Scratching the 4, 8, 9, 11, and 12. Keith, you go with the number 6, Disputed Claim. Mikey Juralis, Javian Toledo just missed out last time out, going 7 furlongs. They cut it back in distance today.
It was back and forth in this race. So, again, box of selections. Even Hemp, who I don't have.
Right.
I think I like the way this horse finished up. He had the right kind of flow. He got a good trip down inside on the good part of the track. So, again, I know he's not on our picks. He will be used in the exact. There's no doubt about it for Brandon McFarland. Let's get back to Disputed Claim. He just kind of made his own trouble last time out. Inside, a break outward, up in the air a little bit, a little bounce around. But I tell you what, I liked what he showed to make that run off the pace at 7/8 of a mile. Even had a little trouble even the far turn. So looking at how this race is going to go, I think if he breaks cleanly, he is right off the lead. Stalking the one Arden's lucky to be. Maybe Noah Chance, second back off that break, is going to bring a little bit more speed to the table today. But I think Disputed Claim showed that other, way of running to me last time. Gives me a little extra hope for a barn that we've always liked, that flies under the radar a little bit, but does quality work in Mike Giral. So there you go. Midnight Renegade. Yeah, we've got video of this one's last race. And you better pay attention when Lacey Gaudet moves from claiming to allowance following a win. That's what you're going to get today. Here's a stat for you. 6 for 19, 32%, 10 for 19 in the money the last 3 years on the dirt with an ROI of 345. Now, I will tell you, Midnight Renegade came away a step slow in this smaller field last time, and I don't think this was as deep as a field, obviously, as he's going to face today. So he better come away a little bit better, but man, he brings a charge here through the last 3/16 of a mile. It was the last almost 70 yards where he just all of a sudden he focuses and says, see you later. Looks like a quarter horse going away from the field here late, right? Very, very eager. Just wrapping up J-Rod there the last 50 yards or so. But Midnight Renegade, to get that flow, a good break. He can slide into position by the 3/8 and make a move into these.
Plenty. Let's touch really quickly on Great Heavens. Tim Keefe, Forest Boys, blinkers on right now. Again, getting to that open allowance to the state bred allowance.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen. I mean, these races can kind of come up very close to the opens. That's kind of where we are right now with these horses, but. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. Interesting, the blinkers go on, okay? Because I don't really see anything that he's done wrong, but there could have been something that Forrest said, hey, let's just get a little bit more focus here, bring something to bring to the table. Again, rail 3 wide, December 29th. Work that good trip with the favor of the racetrack. Numbers stack up beautifully here. I think you're going to get a run here at 6 furlongs today for this one.
There we go. 6-2-5-1 for race number 5. We will be right back after this little tiny break to talk about the last half of Friday's card here in Maryland. And welcome back here for race number 6, the jackpot. Super high 5 race, of course, a little carryover. Going to climb its way up to $6,000 by the time we get to this open allowance. Going a mile on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 2. Nice value here in Cheloinian for Lacey Gaudette, Johan Rosado. This is another one, as you mentioned, moving from the claiming to the allowance.
Getting a high percentage barn at a price. I like that. Going up off the claim for Lacey, and you see that ROI over the last year or two. It's really kind of off the charts. You're going to work for this jackpot super high 5 if you take it down today. I just get looking. Obviously, I always think about the flow. How are things going to set up? I try to visualize this race. And Cheloinian, he's been okay at a mile. The one-turn mile's been okay. He's got some positional speed, which I like. I just think he had sneaky traffic. He comes out of the same race as Hey Chief on the 31st. Hey Chief had the clear run right up the rail, beautiful ride by Cruz to get it done, and was eager to go away from that field and ran down loose speed in Running River, which I love seeing. So I'm definitely going to use that one. But Cheloinian, from a value standpoint, it's going to be him. He was tied up behind, held up, I should say, behind a fading kind of arrival, leaving the far turn. He had to tap the brakes, and he did it again upper stretch, where right when he kind of wanted to get his momentum going, Hey Chief had all the momentum up the inside, and he was stalled a little bit. So Chelonia, numbers, they stack up enough for me. He's going to have to move up, but a clear trip, and I think he impacts this field, no doubt.
I love that. I really am loving your value play here today. You mentioned Hey Chief kind of had a little bit all the opportunity last time out. The number 9 that you have underneath, let's go from the inside to the outside. In 8 wasting time for Diane Marizzi, Xavier Perez, they are on a kick together right now. Will be a part of the speed here today, may fare a little bit better.
I think realistic, and Margie's Fun Son, I don't think he's as fast as this horse early. Ain't wasting time, off a little bit of a break, has run okay off of a break. You've got X-Man, so this trainer jock combo has done okay. You got one horse to kind of really deal with, I think, on the front, and it could be a little bit of a news. That's Victim of the Night, and that's a horse that sometimes doesn't want to really come out of the gate real well. So that being said, I think, again, for a little bit of a value standpoint, at 10-1 morning line, this horse is into the race early and definitely consistent. Ran against the right kind at Delaware over the summer, and then up at Parks last time, just no good whatsoever, but was down inside, and we know Parks sometimes that inside can be deadly sometimes. It's just not good. So ain't wasting time, I think, is a pace presence throughout. Crossland, we have video of this one. Had just made it onto my picks, but I don't know if this number, 87, it's awfully strong, beat a 9-time winner on Capture Storm. I think got rated beautifully here with Forest Boyce, was 3 wide and really responded. And this horse holds firm. I mean, he was real game to the wire. Had that help around the turn, but when the real running started, he wasn't letting anybody by. So again, this is a horse that's versatile enough, can handle the one-turn mile, doesn't need to lead here. I think he can sit a few lengths out of it if need be. We know we're going to get that inside-out trip from Forest. So 2-1-9-5, really highly competitive, open first level. You've got 8-5-3. We're all over the map.
Yes.
Touch upon under the radar for Ness.
You have to go with some of these horses that are a bit solid. Of course, you have Jamie Nez, who's doing well right now from his Parks to Laurel runners. So I think within that run, this horse doesn't totally love a rail trip, right? He's
Okay.
okay with a rail trip. He tolerates it. So he did, in fact, do a rail trip last time out and handled himself pretty well amongst that field. So for me, I'm a big trip girl, and that's the way, and that's kind of the way I see it. So I'm always looking for that horse that's going to be a little bit on the improve. And within that field last time out, flat out flying, ran okay next time
Oh,
out
yeah.
on an off track. So I'm taking a little bit of that, and I'm kind of like, I feel like within this field, with as wide as it is, I'm not saying playing chicken, but playing it safe with the Jamie Ness horse.
No. He's another one. I'm going to key around probably the 1 and 2 in this
Sure.
race. Maybe sprinkle in a 9 if I'm holding a value, but probably maybe the 2 and 9 when it comes to a value standpoint.
Okay.
Like I play the top and bottom. Again, when you really break it down under the radar, that starter, and the company he got might be even just a little bit better than what a lot of these have seen lately. And we talked about Most Perfect came back and flat out flying in that race last weekend to run very, very big.
Yes.
So yeah, another one you cannot be left out of the exotics. Brilliant Ice is another one. I chased that one last time. Brilliant Ice.
Right.
You've got this one in
I
the
do.
mix. Yeah, but he's got a couple good races at a mile, and
That's what
Annette
I saw.
Eubanks at a big price. Hard to kind of lay off of that as well. So I'm looking at this from a betting standpoint. I'm probably going to key the 2 and the 9 top and bottom for like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 horses, because I think I can get close to double digits on both those horses.
Right. This is a proper jackpot, super high five through and through in race number 6. We could spend all day on this. Let's go
Yeah.
ahead to race number 7 in another restricted allowance. This one is for the girls, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt, and no scratches in this race. Let's go ahead and take a look at Chickahominy from last time out, just getting denied with Victor Carrasco and Robbie Bales.
Yeah, a little bump around out of the gate. And Callie, I don't know, when I looked at this race, every horse kind of looked the same.
Yep.
You got a couple speed types in Liquidator, Goldiness Royal Seamstress to the outside. Moon Boots is kind of maybe that mid-pack runner. Then you've got several that want that trip just off of a contested pace to make the run. But I thought all in all, Chickahominy, she's showing a lot of grit in her races. We talked about the 3-back trial on the turf. But she just has that, I'm going to just keep after you kind of attitude, it looks like. Deeds of Love was just a little too good last time. She kind of rode that inside a little bit longer, got the jump here, quickens on a little quicker here past the 3/16 pole. But watch Chickahominy just dig in this last 1/8 of a mile. She's like, I'm coming to get you. She just can't quite get up. She gets an extra 1/16 of a mile, and I think that's going to be fine for her.
I think that's going to be just fine as well. Talking with Brian, who does our morning line, he said the same thing. A lot of these horses, and especially in this race, looked a lot alike. So Chickahominy, just kind of, you go with the grit, you go with the heart, and then you follow it up with the number 5, Synergies Electra for Kenny Cox. Angel Cruz also putting in some good runs. Will this one appreciate getting back to the 6 furlongs on a fast track today?
And I think you nailed it. 6 furlongs, fast track.
Yes.
Her off-track numbers don't quite stack up to her better fast track. I'll toss the last, caught wide, really good effort. A couple races back behind Rousey Express. I think she's going to work here today, no doubt. She's going to be an okay price. What's he got her line? 10? Yeah. I think she's going to be okay.
Okay, love that. Number 2, Genie and a
Yeah.
Bridle. Jerry Robb, Xavier Perez, coming from off of the pace. I think they're going to keep at that same status quo.
Yeah, this barn's going to have to – they're going to pick it up sooner or later. I'm guessing
Exactly.
Today, Genie and a Bridle. Again, look at all these horses. Angel Art. They're a length apart, a lot of these races when they finish.
Right.
Yeah, she's going to need a little help up front. Goldiness, you've got picked second. Yeah, I think she ran okay last time, 3 wide on an inside favoring day. Ness, 35% the last couple years, Fillies and Merits going claiming to allowance with an ROI right around $2. It works. So I think she gets like that setup shop, I think, right off of Liquidator and Royal Seamstress. We'll get the first run over our closers.
Okay, I love that. There we go, 1-5-2-8 for Keith Fustel to start off that late pick 4, and now we go on to race number 8 in this allowance optional 40,000, going 1.16 on the dirt for the girls 4 and up, scratching the rail horse Bruta, scratching the 4 Peppermint Class. Keith, you go ahead with the number 7, always laughing for Hugh McMahon, Andrea Chavez, coming up from that starter optional to this allowance optional.
Yeah, got bet down quite a bit off the impressive run Mahoning Valley for Farrier. McMahon reaches right in. I just thought it was interesting that she was up on the lead that particular day. They didn't go that fast, 24-4, so it just kind of drug. She was very eager 2 races back. I think she's going to like a little bit more flow than she's going to get that today. I think Knickers in a twist inside will go ahead and go with those blinkers, maybe Pharaoh's baby gal, but always like with more of a target to run at. I think you'll see an improved effort, and this is a move off the claim that seems to work here over recent years for Hugh McMahon.
You and I also talked. I discussed earlier my single on my ticket: Charming Way, Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez. I'm going with these safe horses today, Keith.
Charming Way, yeah. Look at the comment. Confident, 5 wide upper. Inside was pretty good. At no point did she really look like a loser. At a mile and an eighth, shortens up a little bit, a 16th of a mile. Freshen. What's she won? 3 of her last 4. I mean, she's in very good form. She may have to come from a little bit further out of it, but with the help of these scratches, I think she gets better position as well. And yeah, right back here for Ness. Not protected last time, protected today.
Okay.
Yep.
What's your take on the number 9? I Can Run for Claudia Gonzalez with the weight off today.
Yeah. Again, I think is a definite user. Last time out, just a mild run. 2 turns, works a little bit better, did all the running, never gave up behind Charming Way. If you like Charming Way, hard to dislike I Can Run. I think the jock will get this horse dropping in to the inside. No doubt that break in weights is going to help. Shift in early, settle, let things develop up front. She's got some heart. She kind of likes to just keep on grinding. I think she's going to work out in this field.
There we have it. 7, 8, 9, 2 for Keith Fusel in race number 8. Race number 9 is an allowance optional 55 going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. No scratches here. Keith, let's talk about your top selection. In Our Nation on Parade, shortening up for Jamie Ness. Jamie Rodriguez, of course, takes the call on this one.
This horse has had no problem sprinting on the go back. And you know, he got into some of these races, and he just run good race. Just things tailed off the last few. Given the time off, I think it's going to do a lot for him. I'm sure he's freshened up, keen to go, and Lasix getting back on J-Rod. The speed that's in here, I think he's going to like what he sees leaving the 3/8, but he'll ramp it up. In for the tag today, interesting, but if he doesn't fire today, I'm going to definitely be concerned. But I think he'll fire a good shot off the break.
Now, let's talk about your underneath selection, your exacta. In No Sense for Cal Lynch, Carlos Lopez, 1 away from 1,000. And let's not say any more about that because Cal is pretty superstitious.
Is he? Okay.
Let's take a look at the Dave's friend with this one last time out.
Well, this is a really gutsy effort. Another one off of a few months put into the Dave's friend. Outside that particular day, doing through pretty brisk internals. And, you know, he's my honey badger. No slouch. Cal in the field speaks for itself. Very game. I give the comment, sharp comment for a horse that finishes 3rd, beat and a half length. Again, give it a really good luck because you think he's going to just kind of fold right now. Had nothing to do with that. Gets headed here. Another horse comes up to his outside. He just digs back in. There's a wave coming. We know who gets this done way outside with Greeley and Ben. But look at how tenacious he is between horses to the wire.
Well, exactly.
Really
You have to,
effort.
and if you pay attention too, as soon as Greeley and Ben was within sight of No Sense, then he even started to pick it up more. I mean, Greeley and Ben was so wide of him. To me, it's curious to see what would happen if Greeley and Ben was right next to him. So, yep, hard in, hard out on No Sense.
Yeah, this Jersey bred will get put into the race early. Exculpatory off of fresh is very, very fast. Bourbon music just to his outside is really quick. But watching that race, I think No Sense with a clean break. If he wants to go, yeah, take a little heat. But I think he might be best served just rating just off those first 2 and then making that attack move, say, by the quarter pole.
I agree. I think he's going to like it. 4-1-6-5 for Keith there in race number 9. Race number 10 is a 3/4 dirt affair starter optional 12-5. Let's go ahead and talk about both of your horses, both of your top selections. In the 4 and the 8, Nottoway, and his name is Sue. Nottoway back in that effort on the 5th of July. One had a bit of a wide trip, and then one had a little bit of an easier go.
Yeah, Nottoway called out 3 to 4 wide. And we talked about him, his most recent starts. Interesting, because he used to be a speed horse, and now he's kind of being able to kind of make that move from a little bit further back. His name is Sue, has a little bit more positional speed and catches a field. When you look at it, I mean, maybe pressing concern will go. I think he still might get the jump second off the claim. Both of these horses run pretty well to the wire. Top Boss just too good this particular day, but right back. Tough for me to separate. His Name is Sue. I might get to jump at Nottoway. He's got a little bit of a break there too. You know, I'm not a huge weight guy, but he's got what? He's got quite a few pounds. 14.
Yeah.
You know, when you really break it, look at it, it's pretty strong.
That's where I think
that might be the separator.
Right. That's where I think, hey, weight makes a difference there. But that's anyway. Keith, you go 4-8-1-6 to wrap things up. But let's dive into our lightning round. A couple of points to pick up. Starting with Keith, let's start with your value play and your best bet. Actually, let's start with your best bet. Let's go with El Delary in race number 2.
Yeah.
Also starts your pick 3, 4-1 Machado Barbosa, first time against winners today.
Just like how he overcame all that trouble last time. Maybe the light bulb went on. You got Barbosa and inside post Lasix. Lots of positives. May have to run down the Ness runner, but this guy certainly definitely capable and sustains a run going long.
Let's talk about an old Ness runner in Shalonian in value. When your value play in race number 6 also is that jackpot super high 5 race in race number 2, 12-1, first time in the barn for Lacey Gaudet and Johan Rosado.
From one high percentage trainer to another.
Yes.
So, I'm okay with that. Her record off the claim speaks volumes. The ROI is very strong. And we talked, had sneaky kind of a trouble last time. That's why you got to go back and watch those races. Definitely held up a little bit, leaving the far turn and then turning for home. This horse, hey, Chief, he's got quite a few lengths to make up, but I don't think they're that far apart.
Okay.
So at the price we're going to get, we get close to double digits. You got to dive in. If we get beat, hey, there's always tomorrow.
Exactly. There we have it from Keith Fustel on his value play that I love of the day. Let's talk about another love in Maryland racing. Let's talk about post time, stretching it out into the Jennings here and running away with it. Keith, take it away because you were here. You were there that day.
We were here, and I tell you, post time, really impressive. I tried. I picked against them. I thought it was going to be like a 3-way thriller all the way through the stretch. No.
Bye-bye.
He was in hand turner for home, and we knew it was over from there. And you saw the way he went through the wire. Love the off going. You root for a horse like that. He's been pretty cool. 7s, 11. Good field there, but post time, that was the race there. I talked about it. You know, I didn't know kind of what he had faced prior.
Sure.
This was a little bit more seasoned group of runners, and he disposed of them rather easily on that off track.
Yeah, especially with what he showed in the previous race. I had him on top, and I was like, I wasn't quite sure for this distance for the first time, and it made me a believer, a double believer there in the Jennings for post time. Okay. Of course, with Brittany Russell and Hillwood Stables. And let's talk about another champion. Let's talk about the Eclipse champion, Axel Concepcion, getting the Eclipse Award for Apprentice Jockey. Of course, he made a stronghold here in Maryland. He finished 14th in the wins amongst North American jockeys. 20% of his 1,005 mounts, 160 seconds, 159 thirds, 52% in the money, and 5,179,154. Interestingly enough, rare for an apprentice, he rode 19 stakes races at 6 different tracks.
Wow. Yeah, and I know he was a commodity. He went down at Turfway.
Yes.
And you know, caught the likes of Brad Cox and some of these other trainers. So, yeah, certainly proven a heck of a year. And we know year in and year out, we're a little bit of a launching pad for the apprentice riders. So, congrats to Axel Concepcion.
Maryland being a producer, as Keith said, mentioned, for these apprentices. Congrats and to Axel, but back to business here. It's a great card. Enjoy it. And Keith, we are going to take it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches. Good luck.
All right, take it away, Dave.